You can use this microphone.
Oh yeah, I'm okay. Is Josh made it yet, or should we start?
You can have a seat for him. If you know anyone who's in authority or anything, you can. Someone will not be able to make it. But when we call him, we just
Welcome, sir. Welcome. Yeah, that's it.
you know our videoing. This is not. قمتم صورتم بسرعة انتظروا شوية.
بشيل عندنا ناس ما بيعرفوا كلهم اصحابنا كلهم هذا العمل.
Really?
يا شيخ brother, why you wanna put some shit right again? Put him. Put him. Yeah, yeah. يا شيخ يا شيخ هذا الشيخ نقض من الكراسي هذا يا شيخ مو رايك بدل ما هذا مكتوب. انت مسوي ها Long time. What do you? I will see you around town. You see, brother, that's all done, brother. It's a, that's it. You know, I asked for mafia, the mafia. That's it. That's it. But those were kind of crazy days. Bro. Good days. So, yeah, honestly, it's crazy, but everyone is better and right. That is true. That is. My life would not be here when I not gone through that. We was like have a lot of Muslim masjid because before is no people. It's like a little mosque. Nobody comes to the mosque. Right. Yeah. We have chair. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about here. Huh?
Bring it back. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So.
Okay, move it back, move it back. He's gonna start excusing himself.
Are you gonna get out?
خلاها كده لما بعدين شوف وين يصلح نفسه. انا اقول له
Josh.
عنده كرسي يعني.
May I kindly ask all the newcomers, we still have a second floor. You can go to the next floor and you can watch from this room, that room. Uh, Ladies upstairs, would you guide the crowd, please? Yes.
بعد انزلها.
What is that? He's here somewhere. I've seen him come in. Maybe he's praying.
صور لا عين.
انا صورها بعدين عشان عامل صور من داخل يا جماعه مش الان.
Is this for? Is it good to go?
Barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Islamic greeting, which literally means, may peace and blessings be upon you. Shalom to my Jewish brothers and sisters who are here, and good evening to my Christian brothers and sisters who are here. I cannot forgive Abi brothers, Sat Sri Akal. We are gathering would have been in a different circumstance. I wish that this would have been in a circumstance to celebrate joy. Rather, we are here to grieve, innocent lives lost in New Zealand. 50 people died. The divisive rhetoric is will not be tolerated in this city, in this county, in this state, and definitely not in our country. So with that, I'm encouraged that we have seen an outpoured, condolences from the community, and for which we are truly grateful, truly grateful. We need to come together. This really brings joy. At the same time, brings tears to my heart. That you know why do we wait for circumstances such as this to gather in a Islamic mosque or a synagogue or a church? We should be doing this more often and quite frequently. you know so with that, I with that, again, I am so thankful, thankful from our entire community for your presence here tonight. Regardless of the circumstance, I am grateful that each and every one of you are here tonight. So I am going to pass the mic on to our Imam, Brother Ahmed, to say a few words.
First of all, I would like to apologize for the one who are standing up. We're overwhelmed. Thank you for your understanding. I will try to work it the best way to make it a night that we will not forget for the coming days. Welcome, all of you, of peace. We greet you all with the Islamic greeting of peace. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in humanity. Indeed, our eyes may shed tears, our hearts are full of sorrow, and by the loss of the innocent souls we are deeply saddened. But we only say in both good and bad times what pleases God. The tradition in the time of tragedy, when we lose a human's innocence, is to stand a minute of silence. We can no longer stay silent. It is time to act. It's time to speak up. It's time to say we're gathering together against violence and hate. Friday noon in New Zealand, in the city of Christchurch, evil one, a human devil, a terrorist, in cold blood, murdered 51 innocents and injured 40. Men, women, children, not differentiating between young and old. breaking and disturbing the peace and sacredness of two mosques. And then indeed, he has terrorized and disturbed all the religious places in the world. He has murdered humanity. He has attacked all the children. Terrorism has no faith. Terrorism may occur in any place. Terrorism can come from any race. And we're responsible. We're responsible to teach and preach, to operate and cooperate, to build the bridges of understanding, to work on a peaceful future for our children and coming generation, to stop hate, racism, stereotypes, and all evils. As religious leaders, as people who believe in peace, we cannot do it alone. We urge and we encourage our governments in all offices and positions, presidents, congressmen, governors, mayors, county supervisors, city councilmen, law enforcement. Let's work together. How can we help you? We want to meet and have like this meeting in different occasions to see how can we make this city a better city. How can we make our schools better schools? As Muslims, we are firm believers of what God revealed in the Holy Quran. If anyone murdered a person or spread mischief in the land, it would be as if he killed all mankind. And if anyone saved a life, it would be as if he saved the life of all mankind. The Muslim who believes in God's oneness, believes in angels, the Holy Scriptures, the prophets and messengers, the Day of Judgment, and the good and bad aspect of destiny, connect to God through the 5 prayers, gives the annual alms and charity for poor and needy, fast the month of Ramadan to gain self-discipline, and do pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca to remember Abraham's sacrifice and struggle to obey God, and not to forget the command of having the noble manners and great ethics. The Muslim who has based his or her belief upon all that, hate terrorists, rejects hate, rejects violence, rejects discrimination, and any act of disturbance for humans' peace and safety. I can't say better words of what the attacker has done than what I found someone wrote, and I will quote them. Message to the lost soul of Brenton Tarrant and his supporters. Appreciate that you made the effort to find out the timing of our noon prayers. Appreciate that you learned more about our religion to know that Fridays are the days where Muslims go to pray. But I guess there were some things rather unfortunately you didn't get to learn. Appreciate that you showed the world how Muslims welcome with open arms even people like yourself into our mosques, which is our second home. Appreciate you for showing that our mosques have no locks or gates and are underguarded, because everyone and anyone are welcome to observe us. And as a note, the first victim was by the door. He was welcoming the shooter by "Hello, brother," and the greeting back was 2 gunshots. Appreciate how you brought the religious clergies, religious communities together to stand with one another. You have broken many, many hearts, and you have made the world weep. You have left a huge void. What you also have done have brought us close together, and it has strengthened our faith and resolve. In the coming weeks, more people will turn up into the mosques. a place you hate so much, fortified by the strength in their faith and inspired by their fallen brothers and sisters. In the coming weeks, more non-Muslims, neighbors, and community overall will turn up at the gates of mosques with fresh flowers and beautiful handwritten notes. We have some of that. Thank you all for that. They may not have known where the mosques in their area are, but now they do, all because of you. You may have achieved your aim of intended destruction, but I guess you failed to incite hatred, fear and despair in all of us. And while I understand that it may have been your objective, I hate to say that after all of what that planning and efforts on your part, you still failed to derive and divide among the Muslims and non-Muslims in the world. Yes, you managed the easy task of following in the devil, and as usual, God countered the devil's work to serve us like no one other devil worshiper before. I conclude with that. Thank you very much for coming. And again, my apology of not being able to offer the accommodation we would like to. Thank you so much and welcome all of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, now I'd like to ask is the president of Modesto Islamic Center to say a few words.
Respected and honored guests, ladies, gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Assalamu.
I get used of speaking loud, so that's why.
May peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. Thank you all for coming, taking your cherished time to attend this gathering. We appreciate that. However, and our hearts go out to the victims. We pray for them, for their souls. May Allah, God, grant them the best places in paradise. Amen. May the families of the deceased be given patience, and may they go in peace. Amen. So the question is, this has happened there. Mentioned, it can happen anywhere, right? It could well be this place. This is a mosque. We have synagogues nearby. It has happened there. Has it happened in churches? What do we do? What can we do to deter such actions? Such heinous terroristic actions of sick minds. The only thing that comes to mind is that this is out of ignorance. Ignorance is our biggest enemy. I'm really wired. I may be going to the moon soon. Wow. I don't put that many wires in a patient's heart when I'm taking care of it. But so be it. That's what we are facing, and that's what we are up against, is ignorance. And we learned that people ignorant will do vile and very. So what do we need to do? What is the onus? The onus first and foremost is upon us, each individual. It is time for us, communities, and all the religious communities, not just Muslims. We all need to reach out, not just to each other, but to our neighbors, to our friends, You know, the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to say in it that you need to be able to know your neighbors so that you should be able to communicate with 40 houses on your left and 40 houses on your right. All of us did even 10% or 1% of that. I think we could go a long ways in trying to get rid of some of this ignorance that's going around. We have to get rid of all these barriers and all these stereotypes that we're living with day in and day out. And unfortunately, especially in our uh, Central Valley here, our education rates are dismal. Our high school graduation rates are dismal. So we know education is a problem. But it's up to us now. We have to take it upon ourselves. Each individual. Beyond the individuals, what else can you do? And individuals might ask us, what can we do without reaching neighbors? There's your schools. Your kids go to schools. Go participate in their schools. Show up there, give a lecture on whatever religion that you belong to or whatever you're comfortable talking about. Those are the ways to break those barriers that we need to so importantly do anymore. What are we going to leave behind for our kids? This mess? Is this what we're going to leave behind for our kids? It is reassuring that we have people that have showed up. I didn't even know because I go from Salida to Modesto and go to the hospital. I didn't even know there were that many people in Modesto. So that's great. Thank you. It's it's nice to see and very optimistic feeling that finally we can talk to each other, we can get together, but it shouldn't be an occasion like this that we get together. It doesn't have to take one of these types of occasions that we get together. We need to do it more frequently. We need to do it, spontaneously, if you will. And we need to reach out to the greater Modesto community. So, as leaders, as preachers, as priests, as rabbis, we have to do more than what we are doing. Absolutely. The next onus is obviously on the city leaders and the lawmakers and the council members. But nonetheless, still, I think some communities are just not well represented in the geographic landscape of this city. And they need to stand up, they need to go out. For example, we need some representation into the political system of this city, some representation into the civic matters. Individuals have to take responsibility, their civic responsibilities, and be accounted for. This city is your city. There's no other place to go. I myself have been here for 20 years. All my 3 kids were born here. Well, where else am I going to go now? This is home. So if this is home, then let's take responsibility of our backyards and front yards, not just what's within. So I urge every one of you, Muslims, non-Muslims, whoever is here and who is listening, pass on that message, communicate with each other, get to know each other. You are the same. People want the same thing, peace and a good education and a good living for their kids. And that's basically it, right? So I think I've said enough. There are other speakers that need to follow and some very important speakers. I apologize to our next speaker that as he was running non-profit, we cannot say, oh, I'm for this person or for this person or whatever. My tax exemption will be gone and I'll be on the streets. So I couldn't do that. But now I can wholeheartedly say that one of our own sons from the city of Modesto, who we've been very fond of, is now the congressman. And please, let's all welcome. It's an honor and a privilege to call to this podium Josh Harder.
the best way to do all this. You got to be wise.
He may be going to Mars, not Moon.
You're right. Well, thank you, Dr. Hussein. I never want to throw you out in the streets. I promise. Thank you guys so much for being here. Honestly, after the last couple weeks in D.C., after the last couple days, can't tell you how refreshing it is to be in a place of unity, where people come together, where there are kindness, there's rationality. It's really inspiring. And I want to thank so much all the folks that made this happen, from our mayor to the members of Modesto City Council and Stanislaus Board of Supervisors, to our law enforcement, to our clergy. This, I think, is a show of what our values truly represent here in the Valley, what we're seeing right now. No place is more precious, more sacred than a house of worship. And what happened last Friday was an attack on all of us that stand for peace. There's something particularly heartbreaking about a tragedy that occurs in a place of worship, that's intended to be a place where people search for peace. I think no one should have to have fear when they wonder where to go to pray. And Imam, when I spoke to you a couple days ago, one of the most heartbreaking things I heard was the stories of what your children were feeling, what the stories of the children in this congregation were feeling. That is what we are here to reject. I want to let you know that to all the members of our Muslim family here in Modesto, our hearts are with you. We stand with you. The Central Valley stands with you. I stand with you. Our elected officials, our clergy, we are all here to reflect and represent what I think is one of the most wonderful parts of the community that we live in. You are an essential part of what makes our community so special. You're our neighbors, our teachers, our business owners, our local leaders. You are the social and economic fabric of the place where we live. And we stand behind you today and every day. That's what we're here for. And I think today is such a strong symbol. And it fills me with such gratitude and such grace to see us stand together this evening, rather than apart in isolation. And I remember back the last time that I actually saw so many clergy members together. And I wish it was at a better moment. What it was at after the Tree of Life incident that happened in Pennsylvania. And we were together at our synagogue talking about this. And I hear your calls that we should meet in other gatherings. And I agree. This should not be the only opportunity. But I do think that it says something very powerful, that when we had an issue that was going on with our Jewish community, our Muslim community was there. Our Catholic, our Protestant, our Sikh communities were there. And now, in your time of challenge, we are here for you. And I think what we're really doing is we're really tapping in to our better selves, rejecting the message of fear and hate that we saw last Friday. That's not what we believe in here in our community. We reject that message because in times of trial in the Central Valley, we lift each other up. That's what we're really all about. And I promise you, you will always have an ally. You will always have someone who wants to remind the world that hate has no home in this place. And most of all, I want to say thank you to each and every person who came out tonight. Because what we're saying with this statement is that when we see hate, we answer it with peace. And when we see fear, we answer it with courage. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and I look forward to working for you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to our mayor to say a few words.
Wow, good evening, everybody. And I want to thank you all for being here this evening and your show of support. I'm humbled and I'm privileged to be here this evening, remembering those who have been killed in the New Zealand in this senseless and evil act. No person, no person should be murdered in their place of worship. Just look around you. I can tell you that we are truly blessed as a community, and it's a community that cares for one another no matter the reasons, religion, or beliefs. It seems these days that any city around the world could face such a tragedy. As mayor, I'll tell you that I pray every day that Modesto never experiences such a despicable evil. Modesto is blessed to be a community with a true sense of understanding, tolerance, collaboration, and compassion. Let us all pray that by continuing to understand and striving to know our neighbors, all of us can work together to eradicate such tragedies in the future. And again, I thank you all for being here and in support this evening. Thank you.
If I could have Miss Brigitte Flatter even say a few words, please.
Good evening, everyone. I was here when they had the grand opening not too long ago. People here, as there are tonight. And the sad truth is, unfortunately, it takes sometimes a major tragedy to bring people together. But much good can come from that. And I think when you look around and you see the people that are here, and you see your representatives from government and the faith community and the community at large and law enforcement, I hope that you are all encouraged. We are here to work together to make this a good, strong, safe community, and we'll do our best to protect you. But we rely on you to work together and to let us know when something doesn't seem right or sound right. Let us know about it. Again, thank you for being here tonight. I'm so impressed and grateful that everyone is here. Thank you.
I have privilege to announce a rabbi from our Jewish community to say a few words, please.
Good evening. It is really my honor to be a colleague and a friend of Imam Ahmed Kaleo, and by extension to become friends with this beautiful community, my cousins. On behalf of Congregation Beth Shalom and the Jewish community of Stanislaus, I offer our support and our condolences. As I'm taught is said in the Muslim tradition, we come from God, and to God we return. These horrible attacks were attacks on all of us, all civilized people, particularly those with a long history of experiencing disrespect through Islamophobia, xenophobia, racism, anti-immigrant rhetoric, just plain hate. We should be safe in our houses of prayer and schools, but we're not. And I think we need to offer more than our thoughts and prayers. As has been said, we need action. And we need to know what we are up against. This terrorism, at this moment, was white supremacy hatred. and it is caused by ignorance, division, fear, scapegoating, and othering. So the only response in my mind can be more education, being united, being stronger in our own identities, taking responsibility for our own words and actions, and staying connected. We all need to become more connected. So to my clergy colleagues, political and social leaders, and really to everyone, I say we must stand up against hate in all forms whenever we see it, and support the interfaith and multi-faith organizing that happens here and across the world, and more regularly attend each other's houses of worship because we are all brothers and sisters. We are in mourning. In our Jewish prayers at a funeral, we say, very similar to tradition, God has given and God has taken. Blessed be the name of God. We also say, may their memories be for a blessing. And we say, may you find the place of comfort among all who mourn. And I would add, may we pray, there is no need for more vigils, because may love and understanding and peace for all who dwell on this fragile planet come, because we will all make it so.
Well, good evening, everyone. What a day. I like to talk about, I think the Congressman had pointed out, it's great to have the clergy here supporting law enforcement, all the elected officials, but we're not the important ones in the room. It's you. You're the ones that are going to make a difference. You're the one that's going to reject hate and embrace love. And I can tell you the sad fact of the matter is that the things that bring us together is tragedy, but we need to remember, I think the wise doctors that take care of the backyard and the front yard, not just inside of your house. Get to know your neighbors. Everyone wants the same thing. They truly do. They want safe neighborhoods. They want a job. They want those things that are at their core value. So just remember that. Get out and have your block party, meet your friends, and I will tell you, we will continue to reject hate as a community and as a county. Thank you for having me.
The members of the Islamic Center of Modesto come from many nations of the world. They have given up their seats this evening, so that they could serve us, so they could guide us to a place, so that they could look on from upstairs or outside, so that we could participate together. As they've come from many nations of the world, they are a gift to us. I would like to say you are a gift to us. Your hopes, your aspirations, your gifts, your skills, your perspectives, your life experiences, your cultures, all enrich us as a community, as a city, as a state, as a country. Your Imam, Imam Ahmed Kayalo, is a special gift to our community. I've had the privilege of knowing him for over 12 years. He is a man of integrity, of compassion, of humility, of vision, of wisdom and the man of peace. I call him my friend. As such, when our friends are attacked, we grieve. We grieve not only for the things that have happened there, but the things that have happened in our cities. We've had young people and others who have been attacked, 9/11, but even since then, sometimes on the bus. They are our brothers, our sisters, our friends. Recently on Friday, we got the news on Saturday morning of an attack on others who are important, and that compounds our grief. For an attack anywhere on our friends is an attack everywhere. We are here today as the people of the Central Valley, as the people of the faith community, as the people of civic government and education and health and all sectors, to say that your grief is our grief. We come to stand with you. We come to pray for you. And we come to thank God for you.
I thank my colleague clergy, Jeff Wood, for these nice words. And I would like to invite a person who is special to me. I remember when I came to this community, served as an imam, she would email me, call me. She has encouraged me in many occasions to be part of the gates and the doors, to be involved in the community. That is Aaron Matson, the previous pastor and Church of Brother in our neighboring church here. So may I ask you, Aaron, to come and say a couple words?
The Imam knows that one of the hardest things for me that I absolutely respect is I cannot touch or hug him. And I respect that with all my heart. But as a hugging person, nights like this, it's challenging, but I can bow to you. I think the word I want to give tonight out of the comments is really, I think where it's at, is we have to each take action where we are, where we live in our own lives, in simple ways that we take for granted mean the most. And by that I mean, do not let ourselves get overwhelmed by saying, what can I do? Or so much needs to get done. It's so easily. Just start when you see a neighbor out you don't know, and in your gut you say, I should just go over and say hi. Go do it. When you're in the grocery market and you're checking out, and the checkout clerk seems to be really sighing or troubled, just say, I hope are you okay today? Follow your gut. How many times do we see someone on the street or in the market or in our community or around the park, and we have a little inkling, a little nudge to go over, to say something, to wave? One of the simplest things I've decided lately is to try and make eye contact with every person I can during the day. Just think about that a minute. We look down. We look away when we go by people. I've made the simple commitment to look or wave at every person I can that I come across during a day. So that's my simple encouragement tonight, is don't get overwhelmed by the magnitude of what needs to be done. Instead, really think about the simplicity of it in a way as well. And just make a couple simple commitments or follow your nudgings towards your neighbor and just see where it goes.
Good evening. Our condolences are with our Muslim family, and I want to extend those condolences on behalf of our Police Chief Galen Carroll and the Modesto Police Department. There's a lot of comments made here tonight that we completely agree with, and a lot of it has been talked about getting to know your neighbors, and we call that the art of neighboring, and how important that is to get to know people. There's a saying that fear is a liar, and I couldn't agree more with that, because when we let fear of our next door neighbors and what they may be like, or other people that aren't like us, when we let that fear run in our imagination, 99% of the time it's wrong. But when we get to know your neighbors and you get to know the people around you, it's amazing how quickly people of all different backgrounds become friends and faith-based and that sort of thing. So Modesto is absolutely a model city. I look out in the crowd and see the diverse crowd that we have here, and it's amazing. Our city continues every year to get national awards for our National Night Out program, which isn't a testament to the police department or to the government leaders, but it's to you. It's a night of communities and neighborhoods coming together to just sit down and have a meal and talk to each other and get to know one another. So it's truly a testament to see you all here tonight. And again, as your law enforcement agency, I think I speak on behalf of all the law enforcement agencies in the county. We are prepared to be the guardians of this county. We prepare for the worst and we hope for the best. But I think a lot of what we do here as community members and groups is amazing work, and I just encourage us to continue that work and be that model city for the rest of the country. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity and thank some of the dignitaries that are here in attendance today, starting with Mr. Withrow, who is the County Board of Supervisor, and one more County Board of Supervisors. Did I forget your name, sir? City Council woman, Ms. Jenny Knoyer, Mr. Ridenauer, Mr. Manny Grewal, Mr. Bill Zalowski is here, our Mayor, Mr. Ted Brandewall, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting someone, but also our District Attorney, Ms. Brigitte Flatiger, along with the Modesto PD, and I believe the Sheriff's Department is here as well, and young Congressman who really brought this thing together. So I thank each and every one of you who has attended this meeting this evening and literally given us your love. So we hope and pray that this love continues, regardless if it's here in this center, if it's in synagogue, or it's in a church. But I feel that this dialogue needs to continue, and we need to move forward on the path of peace. So thank you so much for attending tonight.
Any of my clergy colleagues here would like to say a couple words, please take turns.
I'm Michael Schiffelbein. I'm the pastor of College Avenue United Church of Christ and the president of Stanislaus County Interfaith Council. And our council includes the Muslim community and the Jewish community and the Hindu community and many varieties of Christian communities, the Sikh community, and we care about coming together as the children of God, as one big family. It's very important to us. I've heard the word ignorance a lot tonight, and that is the problem. And the solution I've heard too, and that is knowing, getting to know someone with different beliefs, know someone with a different life, different experiences. And when we do that, fear disappears, and we know people, we know individuals. We grow in our own love, our own community. Something changes in our world. Standing together really matters. From a faith perspective, It matters. I know from my faith it says to stand together makes a difference. That is an act. That is an important political act. It's a human act. And I think every human heart says that too. It's not just religious faith that says that to stand together makes a difference, to speak against hatred and to make a difference in our world. So I am so honored to be in this place of hospitality tonight. I have felt the hospitality of this community many times, and I'm honored, and I think we all are, and I think we can be changed as we go out from this place. Thank you.
I am Pastor Lynn Crace. I'm the pastor at Emmanuel Lutheran Church on College and Stoddard, and we're here tonight, some of my congregation and I, to offer support and condolence, to let you know how horrified we were about this and how amazing it is to see the community gathered as you are tonight. We are tonight. Wise words have been spoken tonight. Let's keep them with us, carry them in our hearts. And so, again, our condolence to you. And going forward, I'm part of the multi-faith clergy group that meets monthly. And so I've gotten to know these people, these clergy people, religious leaders throughout Modesto, throughout the county. And we're getting to know each other as people, which is the most important thing we can do. We have much more that unites us than separates us. And so we need to celebrate all of those things. Thank you.
The first thing I do when I get home every day is take off my shoes. So I can't tell you how comfortable I am. Though it makes me a little shorter. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be brief. I'm Nick Lorenzetti, and I'm from St. Paul's Episcopal Church on Hill Road, and I too am humbled and privileged to be here. But I'm actually here because my boss told me to be here. No, my boss actually asked me to send a message to you. Our bishop's first diocese was Christchurch in New Zealand. Bishop David Rice, Diocese of San Joaquin here in the Central Valley, was first bishop at Christchurch. He prayed in those synagogues. He visited them. And last week, as our bishops from around the country were gathered in North Carolina, he received this news, and he cried. He wanted to be here tonight, but he couldn't catch a flight back from where he is on the East Coast. But he asked that on behalf of the entire House of Bishops and House of Deputies of the National Episcopal Church, which exists in some 17 countries, that you be assured of the prayers of the millions of us who are part of that family of faith. I'll end by sharing sentiment last week at the House of Bishops when he was asked as the former bishop of Christchurch to get up and speak. He couldn't. So he simply issued 3 words. He said them twice, and then he sat down. He said, are us. They are us. May I ask Tom Frederick, please?
My name is my name is Tom Broderick. I'm a deacon, retired. Parish is Our Lady of Fatima. But I represent also the Diocese of Stockton. And Bishop Cotta also has written a letter to all of our churches and all of our people expressing horror and grief at this time. It is a good thing that we come together as a community. It is a good thing we, as politicians of many stripes, folks of many faith, but I am here to offer my condolences. Good grief. It's been hardly 3 days. All of us have brothers and sisters in faith who have suffered for their faith. All of us come from families. My community's heart goes out to yours. These are, if not brothers and sisters, as the rabbi said, if not cousins, certainly voluntary in-laws and nieces and laws in faith. All I can say is, may the souls of the faithful departed rest in peace, and in our tradition we say amen to that. And again, our profound condolences.
We're making progress. I've got one microphone instead of three. So, thank you all again. This has been a wonderful, very moving evening to see you all here, to different people of different walks of life, different faiths. The support, the courage that you've given us is truly overwhelming and very much appreciated. I want to end with a small email that was sent after this incident happened to a mosque in Florida by an elderly lady. I'm going to read it out to you. I am a St. Louis or St. Lucie resident, and I'm shaken by what is happening in our country and specifically what happened in New Zealand. I can't imagine what horrible thoughts and fears the congregation is experiencing. I would like to volunteer for anything I can do to help you guys. I am an older woman, so physically I'm limited, but I was thinking I could stand outside for a few weeks while you had your services. Maybe I could find people that would join me? Question mark. It would be hard to throw objects or shout obscenities with your grandmother standing outside. So this just captures what we are for, what we are. We stand for each other. We have to stand for each other, and the sentiment that is involved. So anytime, henceforth, anybody has any difficulty, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. And you know, brother Imam Ahmed, he'll probably wake up in the middle of the night to go anywhere and do anything if anybody desires or wants it. So thank you again for attending. May you have a blessed and holy evening. There is some refreshments, some snacks in the back. Please help yourselves. Please mingle. Get to know one another some more. And we'll be getting together soon, inshallah. God willing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to take a quick moment to recognize everyone that's here, including the NAACP, including the Modesto City Council, the County Board of Supervisors, the Police Department, the Sheriff's Department. So this is a truly an outpour of love to us. Tonight we heard the word ignorance many times, and I'd like to close in saying that our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, the cure for ignorance is to ask questions. So, our center, our worship center literally is open to anyone and all. If you have any questions about our faith, as to how we worship, what we do, please come and ask. It's simple as that. Just walk in and you can ask any one of us, like, hey, what do you guys do here? We'll be more than happy to teach you. Thank you again for coming. Please enjoy the refreshments in the back and mingle.
The call for the prayer will be announced right now. We don't have to pray, but we just announcing it. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.